South Africa is blessed with rocks of all different ages, from some of the oldest rocks in the world until very recent rocks. And those rocks are filled with fossils which record the history of the development of life on Earth. Paleoscience is the only discipline which explores prehistoric life and can give us an idea of past biodiversity patterns. And this is really important now in the world where we're experiencing a biodiversity crisis, the so-called sixth extinction, where species are going extinct at an extraordinary rate. And in order to understand why those species are going extinct, it's important to understand what has happened with the development of life in the past.
Palaeosciences is important to teach and to study because it teaches us about the origin of life on Earth, looking at the morphological changes of the hominids that we found in the cradle of humankind. It is important in the fact that they say you need to know where you come from before you go further in your life. It is giving us information about the events that took place in the past, giving us an opportunity to prepare ourselves for the near future.
The Centre of Excellence for Paleosciences in South Africa is to explore the paleontological history of this country, but looks at it from a holistic point of view. We look at the development of life, we look at the development of life in response to environmental change, and we try and understand how evolution takes place and what the evolutionary development was. So it's a very broad mandate that we have, and the idea is to do it in a multidisciplinary fashion, that we bring in disciplines which perhaps have not been involved with paleosciences in the past.
What I do mostly is karst geology and some stratigraphy, but with specifically my karst geology specialization, I try and zoom in and zoom out within all scales of understanding cave systems. So not only from how the caves form, but after what happens when they form, what probably formed them, and how fossils got into the caves.
The focus of my research is on dinosaur evolution, but I also work on crocodiles and things that are between today's birds and today's crocodiles. The cool thing for me is that it wasn't just dinosaurs that were active 200 million years ago in the Karoo. We had little crocs, sort of the size of a chihuahua, running around on land. We also have some of the earliest mammals that science knows about. They're much more rare and they're very small. They're the size of a shrew. Few people know about those, and I think what's quite interesting is if you go out in the veldt today, you go to Kruger, and you see birds, and you see crocodiles, and you see mammals, right? And you see turtles. All of those animals were in the veldt of South Africa 200 million years ago. They just didn't look like they look now. They were the early ancestors of today's fauna.
I've been documenting the cave system as well as the excavations in 3D to try and piece together perhaps the life and, more importantly, the death of Homo naledi. What can the spatial interactions of bones within the Dinaledi chamber tell us? And that's really captured with 3D technologies.
The Karoo is the best place in the world for mammal-like reptile fossils, and we have over 12,000 in the collections of fossils found in South Africa. Mammal-like reptiles are very important to study because they help us understand what it is to be a mammal and what it is to be us as humans, because we share a common ancestor with them. They show evidence of caring for their young, for monogamy, much like many mammals today. They also survived one of the greatest mass extinction events the world has ever experienced. We believe it was a runaway greenhouse effect that caused this extinction event, and I think that is very relevant to the modern day, since we are currently rising CO2 levels beyond what they were in the past. So if we can understand how they survived, it'll help us to understand how to survive this current global warming event.
The ultimate goal of the Centre of Excellence is to cover the entire fossil record of South Africa. But at the moment, we focused on the areas where we've got strength, particularly the origin of fishes, the origin of reptiles out of the Karoo, and also on the development of humans and human technology, and into the Middle Stone Age as well.
I look at ochre, which is a red colouring material. It's an earthy form of hematite, and I look at it how it was used in the Middle Stone Age, so a period from 20,000 years ago all the way back to about 100,000 years ago. The powder was used for lots of different things, and we find the rocks that have these beautiful grinding striations, so we know that they were making powder from this rock. And it's used in hafting adhesive, so to make a kind of glue, to put stone tools onto handles. It's used for, we think, but based on the use wear on the ochre, that it might have been used to tan hides, to colour the hides and actually to help preserve the hides.
The research environment created by the Centre of Excellence for Palaeosciences provides a unique opportunity for us to train young graduates in the science to do world-class research and so improve and attain much greater heights of scientific achievement.
I'm currently studying a finite element analysis on a species known as Trinaxodon leonhinus that was found in a burrow. It's from the early Triassic and it was found in the Karoo in South Africa. The 3D scanning allows you to have scans, so it's x-rays of your entire bone, so you can see the external and the internal structure of the element. And it allows you to not just reconstruct it, but you can analyze it using different types of computer programs, and it's moving away from the whole sitting with a microscope, looking at the actual bone.
I'm very lucky that I am in this field, and I have to remind myself sometimes that when I'm excavating, that I'm actually sitting in a place where someone sat 70,000 years ago making a stone tool or grinding ochre, and it's really exciting that I have the privilege to look at all these tools that were made so long ago.
There's something fascinating about being the first person to look at something in the last 50, 60,000 years. You're the first person to see this particular bone or this particular artifact.
I feel very privileged. It's a great bunch of people here, all doing really good research as well.
Hopefully, when things progresses, we will have more South African youth participating in this field, enrolling in this field. Maybe they might just answer questions that we at this stage have not yet found answers to. So it is a privilege and an honor to be part of the heritage that we say we are studying it, but we are actually living it every day when we come to the office.